So one of the things we did on a problem like number 3 was to get a common denominator. And so if I look at what my two denominators are, sine theta and 1 plus cosine theta, like those are the two factors that need to be a part of my common denominator. So we will multiply this one by 1 plus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta, and we'll multiply this one by sine theta over sine theta. So that's going to give us a common denominator of sine theta times 1 plus cosine theta. And I'm leaving the thetas out for now, but until we get to the half angle and the double angles, like we know that theta is there. So let's do this distribution. The 1 plus cosine times the cosine is what gave me a cosine theta plus cosine squared theta. And then on this side, we've got to distribute the sine to the sine. So that's going to be a plus sine squared. And so the next piece, recognize that cosine squared plus sine squared is 1. So that gives me a cosine plus 1 in my numerator. My denominator is still the sine times 1 plus cosine theta. And so notice that 1 plus cosine theta on bottom, 1 plus cosine theta on top, those two cancel out, and all that's left over is the sine that's on the bottom, and 1 over sine is cosecant. Okay. All right, number 4, we don't have fractions that we can put together, but one of the other kind of methods we talked about was let's turn everything into sine or cosine, and then kind of simplify and work from there. So we already have a sine theta on the outside. Secant is going to be 1 over cosine. Cosecant is 1 over sine. So in this next step, sine is still going to sit here on the outside. On the inside, we're going to get a common denominator of cosine times sine, which means that this one needs to be multiplied by sine over sine. So that's going to be sine, and this one needs to be multiplied by cosine over cosine. So sine plus cosine, and that's sitting on top. Alright, so let's take that a step further and recognize that this is a sine over 1 on the outside, and it's a sine plus cosine over a cosine times sine on the inside. So fraction times a fraction. If something on top and bottom can cancel, let's do that. Sine on top, sine on bottom goes away, which leaves us with, and I'll do it just right here, we have a sine plus cosine on top of a cosine. All right, now this one is this one we're trying to match exactly what one of those 4 options is. On one of our tests, we said let's get everything into sine cosine. So this would be a final answer if we were going to leave everything as sine or cosine. Since this is not one of our answers, let's take it one step further, and let's take it and split it into 2 separate fractions. So sine over cosine plus cosine over cosine. And so sine over cosine is tangent theta, cosine over cosine is 1. Tangent plus cosine, tangent theta plus 1, I believe, yeah, matched one of our answers. Okay.